Tech Cocktail Sessions, educational and inspirational talks from experienced startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders.
I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things you've done in the past and networking, and then about your company and how you look at it now. So you've said before that you totally think that networking is bullshit and you didn't really like to do it. And ironically, now you have a company that helps better connect people. When did you change that whole direction?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a little bit background. So, while I run Contactually, we're a relationship marketing platform. We help professionals that need to stay in touch with people for business benefit actually stay engaged, which is strange for someone like me. Freshman year of college, I was the introverted software developer that was seriously considering going home on weekends because I didn't want to actually talk to people. But I think, when after graduating, I just started meeting a lot of people in the local tech community, just because I was interested in kind of going beyond the company that I had. Frank was actually probably one of the first 5 or 10 people I met, and just. I wasn't really trying to network for the sake of networking, like you go to networking events and exchange business cards just for that. I was just trying to meet people and just get to know more and learn more. Mm-hmm. Then it happened to be I got the benefits of that because more opportunities kept coming by. I happened to meet the right person at the right time, became CTO of a software startup that ended up getting acquired, started my own company after that. Got all my business just via people knowing me, and started to see kind of that flywheel spin by having a really strong set of relationships. Mm-hmm.
So you started to realize it, and then you just changed over. And you're like, this is important, and then started. What did you do? Start going out to more events, or was it?
No, absolutely. I started going to a lot of just straight, flat up networking events. Events where there'd be a bunch of people in the room just like this, trying for the sole purpose of meeting people. Mm-hmm. Started making a lot of connections back and forth, meeting up with people one-on-one. And things started, and then there's lots of really strong networking advice that I never really followed, but seemed to just kind of end up doing anyways, like delivering value, just building genuine relationships, not going specifically for asks, just generally learning more and more about people, and things started coming because of that.
And you're big on something like luck, right? In increasing your luck. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I kind of read about this early on, this kind of concept of a luck surface area. The more, as I mentioned, kind of through my own personal learnings, the more people I seem to know, the more things kept happening because of that. I happen to know the right people at the right time that it would make the right introduction to me and things like that. And so we actually kind of started making more of a practice of this in my latest company, where we wanted to talk to as many people as possible. We wanted as many people knowing about our startup as possible. So we made the practice of not just me blasting and saying, hey, I want everyone to know about Contactually, but we made the practice of talking to our competitors, talking to investors of our competitors, talking to people who had failed. And it's amazing to see actually what's happened because of that, because not only have we learned a lot more, but amazing things that we never would have expected, partnerships and investment opportunities and everything like that happened just because we knew the right people. And I think it's really in part because we just knew the right people just by casting such a wide net.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you now have a platform that helps people better connect with people and stay connected. What are some of the things that you see that companies are doing that are wrong that you give them advice to change? Like, you probably see a lot of companies out there trying to keep connected with people. Is there anything, like one piece of advice you'd give somebody to better manage their relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. So who here likes to network? Okay, cool. Who's really good at it? Okay. And who makes a practice of doing that, doing something networking related or relationship building on a daily basis? Okay, that's 5 people's hands or something like that, right? If you read articles about networking and things like that, I mean, you can spout off tons of advice about, delivering value every time and being genuine and not over asking and all these things. And yeah, of course we talk about in our blog, but honestly, the number one reason why we see people fail, fail at networking or unsuccessful is they don't do it. And I think, honestly, if you're someone that just makes that effort and is consistent, whether it's once a week, once a month, once a day, 5 times a day, doing something like that, just as simple as like sending 1 email a week or 1 email a day, that separates you from 99% of people out there.
Literally,
so honestly,
one email a day. Like,
yeah, I mean, we say like, the most important thing for us is not that you send, 10 follow-up messages a day and contactually. It's literally that you just send 1 a week, right? Just get that pattern started. So actually, as software creators, what we probably spend an unbelievable amount of our time doing that we didn't expect to do early on is thinking about habit building. And how do you build a really good habit? Having a strong relationship is kind of like brushing your teeth. It's something, it's short term. You're not really going to gain much. You have to keep at it. You have to keep going. So that's probably what we spend an amazing amount of our time thinking about.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, one other thing that I wanted to ask you was, you said check in once a week. What if you just can't do that? What are some other things that you can do if it's not an email? Should people meet people for coffee? Like, what's the best way to connect with people, do you think?
I mean, I think there are different levels, right? I mean, I think the flat out is send an email, just like send a quick hey, just thinking of you, right?
Phone calls? Do you think that's a good way to do it?
Phone calls, meeting in person, things like that. I actually am probably one of the few people. Have you guys heard of Yo? Right? And how it's been trashed. It's literally this iPhone application that lets you send just with a click of a button, send a Yo to someone, no text or anything like that. I actually think that's genius because at a base level, that's what you need to do. You just need to establish some kind of base connection.
It's like the poke, right? It's the old school poke.
It's just that letting you know I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is the most powerful thing. So I actually care less about the medium, and contactually we've built it so you can work across any medium or any channel. But I think the base is just make some kind of a connection and stop thinking about, well, should I contact them via email or handwritten letter? We actually see a lot of people doing handwritten letters through our platform.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wait, how does that work?
Literally, they'll log in our system. I sent them a letter, and probably one of our top requested features. Strange, right? Like for us as technologists, but seriously, handwritten letters, they're making a comeback. So
definitely. All right, so you have a team of writers then that.
We won't, but there are a number of startups that we're thinking about partnering with.
Wow, that's great.
But no, I mean, we actually for example, we interview a lot of people. We obviously know a lot of really great networking people and influencers, and probably 4 or 5 times a week we get a handwritten letter, and addressed to someone, and we're just like, what is this? But you start to understand the value because it's showing the amount of time put into that relationship is really important. But honestly, I would have been just as fine if they had sent just a quick 2-word email to me. So
very cool. Is there anything else you want to talk about with relationships in mind?
No, not really. I mean, I think honestly, the thing that separates contactually where we were at the very beginning, when it's just an idea stage, and is actually very similar to how really good networkers network, and we know a lot of them now through our platform. Is just doing it, just just consistency, and just going at it every single day. And I think that's what's brought our team to the size we're at now. We're now at 35 people, I think. The customers we are is not because we're necessarily very good at what we do, but it's because we just started out very early on, just continuously executing. So.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think the other side of that is figuring out what the message is. And I think a lot of people maybe forget that aspect. So I'd say I always rely on Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, and try to look at things from other people's lens, like what matters to them, and try to think that direction when you're actually trying to connect with people. It's just another bit of advice.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can't argue with that.
Yeah. All right, great. Thanks so much, ZB.